Ma Rong was a prominent Confucian scholar, essayist, poet and politician of the Han Dynasty who had two notable students, Zhi Zheng Xuan and Lu Zhi. Zhi Zheng Xuan was an influential commentator of the Confucian texts, philosopher, politician and writer, while Lu Zhi was famously the mentor of Liu Bei and Gongsun Zan. Born in 79 AD in Yufu Feng Commandery, Ma Rong hailed from a distinguished family. His grandfather, Ma Yu, was the elder brother of the renowned general Ma Yuan, who had helped Emperor Guangyu found the Eastern Han Dynasty. His father, Ma Yan, served as a local official, embedding his family into the administrative elite. Ma Rong himself went on to become celebrated as one of the era's foremost interpreters of the five Confucian classics, the Classic of Poetry, the Book of Documents, the Book of Rites, the I Ching, and the Spring and Autumn Annals. He also pioneered the double-column commentary method, where the original text appeared in one column alongside his annotations in another. His commentaries covered all five classics for the coming generations, influencing his noteworthy students such as Zhi Zheng Xuan, then later authoring over 30 volumes of annotations, plus presenting poetic works such as the Rhapsody on the Long Flute. Around 108, Ma Rong was serving in the imperial court, likely as a gentleman of the Masters of Writing. Around this time, the Liang family held significant sway over the Han court by effectively controlling the young emperor, and Ma Rong's Confucian grounding obliged him to call for virtuous governance. The exact details are lost, but he made critical comments about the Liang clan's dominance and corruption. As a result, he was dismissed from his post and sent to Liang province in exile for about a decade. This wasn't a formal banishment, but a sidelining to keep him out of the way. By the time the political climate had shifted in 159, he was invited back to administrate Nan Commandery. He resumed his scholarly and official roles, but remained cautious, focusing more on teaching than court intrigues. Ma Rong's lectures were legendary, drawing over 1,000 pupils to his home academy. His sessions were extravagant. He'd lecture from a high dais behind a silk curtain, earning himself the nickname, the Professor with the Tent. With his male students in front of him, female entertainers, singers, dancers and courtesans performed behind him. This setup emphasized moral cultivation, worldly indulgence as a distraction against scholarly rigor. Among his star pupils was Lu Zhi, a towering figure with a booming voice from Zhuo Commandery. He studied under Ma Rong alongside Zhi Zheng Xuan and Ma Rong's own relatives. Amid the alluring performances, the young Lu never looked away from his books, earning Ma Rong's deep admiration for his unwavering focus. Throughout the time of growing eunuch factionalism and aristocratic corruption, Lu Zhi was only a civilian, but he still publicly protested against the Grand Marshal Du Wu for his overreach of power. During the coronation of Emperor Ling in 168, Lu Zhi made a bold public critique against Du Wu's rewards and titles that he had insisted that he and his relatives receive. Lu Zhi promptly left Luoyang after this and did not return until 170, when he was appointed as a tutor at the Imperial Academy. His students included Gao Yu, a fellow scholarly commentator on the classics, Liu Bei, the founding emperor of Shou and the Three Kingdoms, his relative, Liu Deran, and the later warlord Gongsun Zan. The 170s were a turbulent time, and the Zhiyu-Jiang uprising in 175 was one of many local revolts that foreshadowed the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Lu Zhi was dispatched to administrate Zhiyu-Jiang and suppress the local barbarians, likely Shan Yue or other southern minorities. The region included a mix of Han settlers and indigenous groups, as Lu Zhi led imperial forces to subdue the area. He favoured persuading rebels to surrender when possible, but his success in Zhiyu-Jiang was cut short by illness, forcing him to return to Luoyang. In the coming years, Lu Zhi surpassed almost all other scholars of his time. He became most known for his study of texts on rituals and his assistance in compiling the Han records of the Eastern Lodge, a primary source for Han history for its administrative, ethnographic, and diplomatic recordings. Lu Zhi led imperial forces against the Yellow Turbans, effectively besieging Zhang Shua's forces at Zhulu in 184, but he was removed from his command after the eunuch Zhuo Feng made false accusations against him. Zhuo Feng inspected his army, but demanded a substantial bribe for a favourable report to the emperor. After Lu Zhi bluntly rejected, the enraged Zhuo Feng slandered him at court, falsely claiming he was hiding in his camp and avoiding battle. Lu Zhi was transported back to Luoyang in a prison cart, but this humiliating ordeal was put to an end when his replacement and ally Huangfu Song petitioned for his release. Lu Zhi was then used as a strategist for a while against the Yellow Turbans until he withdrew from active service to focus on teaching and studying. Around 185 to 186, he was recalled to court to serve as administrator of Xiujiang, where he governed effectively with a focus on stability and education. When the power struggle between the eunuch faction and He Jin sparked in 189, Lu Zhi sided with He Jin to eliminate the eunuch's influence. He narrowly escaped death during the coming dangers as Dong Zhuo soon arrived and seized the capital. He briefly served under Dong Zhuo's regime, but opposed his tyrannical actions, such as deposing Emperor Shou. His outspoken criticism nearly led to his execution, but he was spared due to intervention from fellow scholars such as Cai Yong. He eventually resigned from court, citing his old age and ill health. He feared he may be hunted, so he left the capital through a secluded route. Dong Zhuo's troops did indeed come looking for him, but they did not capture him. After his escape, he lived on as a hermit until 192 in Shanggu Commandery, withdrawing from a corrupt world to preserve his moral integrity, teaching, writing, and focusing on scholarship. When powerful figures such as Yuan Shao and Gongsun Zan sought his employment, he declined, refusing to align with any faction while criticizing their ambitions. While Lu Zhi's clashes echoed the empire's desperate cries for salvation, a quieter revolution stirred in the shadowed halls of the academy. The indomitable scholar Zheng Xuan wove the fraying threads of two rival Confucian schools of thought together. His conception of Confucianism would become the mainstream interpretation for centuries. As a brilliant proponent of the old text school of Confucianism, he quarrelled with his rival Shou, a dedicated advocate of the new state school. The old text thought drew from ancient scripts, allegedly unearthed from Confucius' residence walls. It prioritized linguistic accuracy, historical context, and ritualistic depth. The new text thought was based on verbally spoken texts, which were then written down, emphasizing symbolic prophecy, spiritual insights, and political applications. They viewed Confucius as an uncrowned king with a divine mandate. Zheng Xuan and He Xiu's rivalry fueled debates over classics like the Spring and Autumn Annals. The very last entry in the text reads, "In the spring, in the west, a unicorn was captured." Some say He Xiu advanced the text's prophetic terse, with the unicorn representing the Han Dynasty's rise. Zheng Xuan countered by combining different ideas, beliefs, philosophies and rituals from both schools into a fully comprehensive commentary on the five classics. By treating both schools as a unified philosophy, Zheng Xuan was able to both support and appease He Xiu's positions while also explaining contradictions. Zheng Xuan eased tensions between the rival schools over time as he crafted his comprehensive school that put an end to the partisan bickering.